Hello, good morning. It's your fairy godmother Mint, and today we're going to have another one of those extremely candid conversations. Candid conversations with Mint. A blank canvas face because we're going to go do makeup. It's a really interesting day because I've been taking a self-mastery class, which is a science of mind class. If you don't know, I think I'm gonna have to do a science of mind video where I explain like what it is and like, you know, what I'm doing and stuff like that. Like I should really make a video about that. Should it be this video? Should I talk about it? No. In another one. This is a different video. But yeah, I'm taking a self-mastery class, and it's basically a class that asks you to be the best version of yourself and how you can do that, like how you can become the best version of yourself, by really challenging the like upsets of your past, like the traumas of your past, and challenging your mindset, challenging how you think of yourself, how you think of other people, how you think of the world, challenging your role in the world, like what you decide to do, how you decide to impact other people, and how you allow them to impact yourself, and how you create your existence, you know, how you decide to see the world and how you decide to live in the world. So it's a really self-reflective class, and the entire like course program is going to lead to me becoming a licensed practitioner of science of mind, which is basically a practitioner of a mindset where you can create your reality. You know, you can create your life, and you should be creating your life. You know, you should be present with yourself while you're creating your life. You should be making decisions for yourself that are positive and that lead to your growth and your happiness and your ultimate bliss. You know, your freaking life joy project. Like, your life should be incredible and you should be working toward that, you know. So that's basically what I am like working toward, being someone who can speak to that and who does that in a professional capacity, you know, not like a life coach or anything like that, but just like a priestess of life, you know, of love, of joy, and of people taking control of their lives, you know, taking control of your existence. And because that's important to me, like people being happy and living their life to the fullest, no matter what circumstance you're in, trying your best and having the best life is like important to me. It's so important to me, because that is, like I always say, that is the trickle down. Happy people create happy people. Happy people affect other people and inspire them to be happy as well. And then we continue to, you know, inspire each other to be better, to be happier, to be more joyful, to be more kind, and to just have a happier existence. And I think that will make the world better, you know. So anyway, all of that to say, well, I really like got off track. All of that to say, self-mastery class has helped me so much in deciding who I want to be, you know, like who I want to be in this life. Like, you know, how we are always asking that question, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, why am I here? What is going on? What is life? Like, I don't know if everyone asks that question, you know, but that's something that I know a lot of people are struggling with, you know, people when they feel stuck, when they feel like they don't know what's going on. They don't know what they're supposed to do. You know, that's what that question is. Like, what is my purpose? What the heck am I doing here? You know, and it doesn't always, it's not always like a spiritual, you know, magical, witchy, existential question. Some people are just like, what do I do next? After they achieve a goal, they're like, I don't know what to do. So I think that really delving into like why, like what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what makes you feel satisfied and like, blissed out, like chasing those things is important. I think it's so important because, like I said, happy people make happy people, create happy people, and affect people in a positive way. So I've been quite absent from the internet because there was a couple of weeks ago, there was a huge emotional upset. Now, you know me, I get the super SADS. Like, I really am affected by the weather and by the seasons. And in winter, I am quite challenged by the lack of sunlight and the lack of warmth and the lack of activity. I don't see my friends as much. I don't see my family as much. I don't want to go outside. Like, the cold makes me feel so physically uncomfortable. Like, where are my sensory nerds out there who get like the ick when you touch a certain texture or whatever? Like, what is it? Chenille. Some people can't touch chenille or terry cloth or what is that? Microfiber. People like cannot touch microfiber. I need a hair tie of some sort. With cold weather, when it touches my skin, I freak out. I literally freak out. Like, I cannot stand it. So in the winter, I really don't like to go outside, and I become a depressed. Depresso espresso. It's not good. It's bad, Todd. So I had one of those like weeks where not only was I feeling down because of the season, I was also struggling with the death of my cousin, my father's sister's son. Very difficult because we grew up together and he always made me feel so like welcomed and loved, which is really important to me because I don't always feel that way in situations. I am the oddball everywhere I go, like, and I know a lot of people probably identify with that because there are different types of oddballs out there. And, sometimes we are singled out in situations, and sometimes it's fun and okay. And sometimes it can be very uncomfortable. Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, it can still be very uncomfortable to be the odd one out in a group or in a room. So having someone make me feel very welcome and loved is always important to me. And so I will miss that. And it's also just difficult to lose a family member. He was quite young. He was younger than myself. He was in his 30s. He had 2 children. It's just hard. And going through all of these things emotionally with just, depression really, really sinking in, and the loss of a loved one. And it always brings up I don't want to say my, you know what I mean? I don't want to say that's like my phobia. I don't want to own it, it's so gross. So superstitious. But I always want to say, like, I don't want to, it brings up the fear of death that I am overcoming slowly but surely. Gotta be positive. Self-mastery. It is really challenging, all of those things at once is challenging. And then I was also dealing with relationship challenges that were really difficult for me, really, really hard for me. I was then facing a fear of abandonment that I thought I had overcome, and I hadn't, and it came up big time, and I didn't talk about it. I didn't I didn't say anything out loud, which is no bad. Shapop shilop lope. Mama Mint says right now, write it down. Do not keep your feelings inside. Say it. Spray it. Relay it. Let it go. Because if you don't, it will build up inside of you and turn into pain, headaches, body aches, back aches, stressful behaviors, lashing out, mood swings, crying a lot, illness, cold and flu, belly aches, barfing, diarrhea, and the longer you hold stuff in, disease. You can't hold in what needs to be said, what needs to be released, what needs to be let go of. So don't. I released the things that I was feeling all at once in a kind of an emotional way, and it was a big deal. It was a really big deal because I had a lot that was weighing on me, a lot that was weighing on my heart, and it overflowed. Pause. Okay. Oh man, that thing that happens when you, Frodo, please don't do that, young man. Oh my gosh, why does my dog look like Michael J. Fox? Anyway, yeah, the thing where I forget what I was talking about. I'm supposed to be doing my makeup as well, and I am not. I don't have any more of my Georgette Klinger coconut facial mist. It's out. Have any of my other facial mists? Say yes. 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 I think I have one over here. Say yes. Yes. Also, just really quickly, Science of Mind is quite religious, but I do not identify as a Christian witch or anything like that. That's not my jam. That's never been my jam. I identify as a nature-based spirituality practitioner. I commune with the trees and the earth and the sea and the creek, birds, all that exists, Oh, it's so difficult for me to put any kind of title on what I believe in and on what I practice. I have too big of a feeling to put into words the way I feel about the energy that I feel all the time. I am one with this existence, with this planet, with its people, with its energies, and I go with the flow. I tap into what I need to. I tap out when I need to. But I enjoy this life. And it's magic. Does that make sense? Or does that just sound like a bunch of hippie bullshit? Who knows, dog? Let's put on some makeup. After that, or during this, giant emotional upset where I was sort of really expressing how I was feeling and what I was needing, and it was just a time when I was really just opening up and releasing every hurt that I had been feeling and that I had ever felt, was like I wanted to just let go. I was like the floodgates were open, and I was remembering trauma from when I was in like 7th grade. You know, like all of those things were just coming up, and I was just like, let's let go of that right now. Let's let go of everything right now, because I was just in a state where I was like, you know, I'm done holding on to all of this pain. I'm done holding on to anything that I've ever shut away in my heart, you know, because it's not worth it. It's not worth holding on to. It's not worth changing my life in a way that keeps me from experiencing things because I'm afraid of them, because of some hurt from the past that I can painfully challenge and get rid of. Oof, like it is hard. But in this time of like great despair, I felt like there's nothing else that I can do but heal from this, you know. Otherwise, what am I gonna do? Like die of a broken heart, die of the pain of the world being too heavy for me, or the pain that I allow in my heart, the pain that I allow to affect me. I'm going to let it weigh me down so much that I will wither away on the floor and cry and not eat and neglect myself and my family and just die. And I said no. And I got up and I started writing down the people that I loved, and the things that I loved about being alive. And that is like that's my first step of getting myself out of the tunnel, you know. And also during this time, I had a toothache. I will put in a clip of that. I had a terrible toothache. I had like a swollen face, and I had a really bad cold. I don't know if it was just a bad cold or the flu or what afterward, where it was like fever off and on. Like I was going through a ton of CRAP at once. No wonder I wasn't filming or doing anything. It's like really going through it. And it's really hard. It's really difficult. And like, of course, me being me during this time of all of this woe, I want my mother. I want my mom, you know? Like, I'm 42 years old. Every time I say how old I am, I hear, what is his name? Remember, Winnie, remember. Remember, Winnie, remember. Oh my God, the little short comedian man. Kevin Hart. I hear him go, damn. Every time I say how old I am. I'm 42 years old. Damn. But I miss my mom. And I do really, I really like depended on her comfort and her just reassurance, her voice, just telling me that it was going to be okay. I miss that. I really miss that. And I ended up calling my the spiritual leader at the An Awakened Heart, which is the spiritual center that I go to, texting with her, and she was like, I'm gonna call you. And oh man, I was so grateful, because I really just needed like a mom to talk to. You know, I really did. I needed to talk to a mom. And she was just, you know, I told her the situation, I told her what was going on, and she's like, oh, and you're sick, and all these things are happening at once, and I'm like, yes. And she was just comforting. She was just comforting and reassuring. And the red light is hilarious on my forehead right now. I have a red light bulb on, just so you are aware. Because I'm a red light therapy, how I love it. My eyes are comforted. Anyway, she mommied me, which is what I needed. And it helped me to calm down so much. And then I spoke to a dear friend of mine, Callie Little, who is just such an amazing therapist. She has this way of just understanding what you need, knowing what you need, and speaking to that. Not what you want, or not what you want to hear, or not what you are like, ah. Like, she will tell you, like, I was crying and telling them about, like, what was going on with me and how I was feeling and all of the things that were going on, and they laughed. And that laugh was like, it's not that bad. You're going to be okay. You're not going to fall into the well. It just completely reassured me. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm alive. You're gonna be okay. Like, this is fine, Yes, it hurts, it's painful, oh my goodness. You're gonna be okay, What are you gonna gain from this? What are you going to understand about yourself from this, How are you going to soothe your body through this? And she gave me a bunch of, like, techniques on how to, like, calm down and be present with myself to, like, get my body out of the fight or flight mode, because I was definitely in fight or flight mode, like a deer in headlights. I was like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm just feeling like my life is changing so quickly that I don't know how to catch up. It was very scary. And when I finally was able to, calm myself down and relax and do some journaling and read some books on grief and on like relationship repair, about regulating my emotions, and about taking responsibility for my feelings and how to recognize what was actually affecting me and how I was being affected, and whether it really needed to be affecting me in that way, And I'm pretty sure I've shared a lot of stories in the past about my fear of abandonment. I'm pretty sure I have. I don't know. One is an occurrence, and one is a dream that resulted in that, like a recurring dream that resulted in that. And I hate if I already told the story, I'm like, ew, I don't want to just share the same story again. Like, yike. When I was very young, I went to kindercare, like a daycare type of thing, and I can remember wearing my little bathing suit in the summer, and they would have like little water, like water sport things, like water jets. I am like not using words. What are like sprinkler games and stuff like that, where you just run through the sprinkler and stuff. Really fun, cute little like, outdoor things that you can do just to beat the heat or whatever. I would be outside all day because it was super fun, and I don't think they had air conditioning in there back then, so it was just like a fun way to have the kids outdoors and to do cute things. One day my mom came to pick me up, and she was like complaining about how dark I had gotten from being out in the sun all day. And I remembered like a week later she brought it up again, and she was like moping about it. I remember she like stuck her tongue, she stuck her lip out and was like, my baby's getting so dark from them making her or letting her stay out all day or something like that. It made me feel so bad. It made me feel terrible. I don't remember how, I was probably like 6. And it was like, oh, so being dark is a bad thing. Being dark-skinned is a bad thing. And she had made it seem like I was light. I had lighter skin before, and then I was dark after that. I never went back or something, And it made me feel so awful. So I started having these recurring nightmares of going to like the supermarket or going somewhere with my mom, and it would start out where we were like, having a good time, and I'd be like, yeah, let's go to this place that I love to go to. we know Kmart or whatever. I used to love going to Kmart. Kmart's not a thing anymore. It's like dead. Kmart's gone, am I right? We would get in there, we'd be like holding hands, and I'd be so happy. And then my mom would like let go of my hand, and I would lose her in Kmart. And I'd be like running around like trying to find her, and I would see her like at the counter, and she'd be there with like a white girl, and she'd be holding her hand and laughing with her. And then she'd leave with the white girl, and I'd just be like, Mom, Mom. And she'd look at me and like laugh, and then they would leave and get in the car. And I had that dream every night for like years. Sometimes she would leave me in the supermarket. Sometimes she would leave me, like, you know, a store or whatever. And then, like, as I got older and I still had that dream, she would leave me in the parking lot. It was really sad. And it was rough having that dream, because I would just cry, and I would be crying in my sleep. It sucked. It wasn't real, but it felt so real to me. That gave me this weird idea that I was abandonable. You know, I was easily unlovable because my skin was darker. And I had to somehow come to grips with that. I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with my mom like loving me less because my skin was dark. I transferred that into everything in my life. You know, I was easily abandonable. Or I was even, I don't think, is abandonable even a word? I was easily forgotten about or left behind or whatever because of that, you know, because I was different, or because I, you know, my skin was darker. You know, they would choose a lighter skinned person over me any day or whatever, because I had this idea planted in my head that wasn't real, you know. It wasn't real at all, but it was just kind of like stuck in there. And so I kept transferring that into other instances in my life where I think that people are always waiting to leave me for a better version, you know, a better version of what I could be or what I couldn't be. And I had to come face to face with that. Now, at 42 years old, damn, and say, I am terrified of someone leaving me for something that they deem better, because I feel like I am not good enough in some instance, in some way. I'm just not good enough, you know? And I had to say, oh my gosh, what the heck? Would I ever allow someone to say that to somebody else? Would I ever allow someone to say that to my friend? No. How can I say that to myself? Knowing that it isn't true, knowing that that isn't true, knowing that everything that I am is incredible and amazing and resilient and like wildly creative and worthy of existence and life and happiness and joy. Why would I allow myself to feel that way about myself, you know? So I had to combat that, and that was hard. H-A-R-D, hard. Or telling someone else that they are worthy of love and worthy of life and worthy of joy is so easy. And telling yourself those same things is, why is it so much harder? You know, why is it so difficult to believe that I am worthy of life? I have these memories of knowledge, knowing that I was not planned, knowing that my parents struggled and they were really young when I was born, that my mom was made an offer by my aunt that she should run away with me and move to Florida, you know, and raise me there and leave my dad. And there were, you know, all these different things that were going on. You know, they were considering an abortion, and there were so many different things, like adoption, you know, so many different ways that I knew, or I found out, that I was unplanned. And unplanned with all of these, like, details equaled unwanted to me, and hearing my dad complain about how all this problem started in 1982 and how his downfall began when I was born, that reinforced this idea that I was not wanted. I was a problem. I was a thorn in everyone's side. And that was something that I kind of like grew up believing about myself, and that I would lay in bed at night and cry over as a child. I would cry. I did not need that knowledge. I did not need to know any of that, But knowing those things affected me so much because I didn't have the tools to shield myself from that yet. I did not. So I grew up shaping my existence and my behaviors, my personality around those wounds, and forgetting that they were there until they were, confronted by a similar occurrence or a similar emotional state, a similar emotional feeling. I don't even know if this is framed correctly. I've just been blah, blah, blahing. For the longest time, like most people, I would kind of like deal with whatever situation came up as it did, and I would do my best to overcome it. And sometimes things would come up where I would need support. I would need family, friends, therapists to help me, and sometimes I'd be able to get through it on my own. A lot of the time I pushed things aside. I moved them into compartments and cabinets and things in order to move on and in order to survive, in order to live. When I, like, as someone who is studying always and going through these really cool courses and learning how to really like dive into myself and uncover all of the hurt and pain that I've been holding on to in order to release it, to be more at peace, to be more capable of moments of bliss, of happiness, of non-judgment, of just like release, of stress-free life. In order to achieve that, I have to uncover the pain that I've lived through. So, back to the worthy of life and love conversation. I really have to combat all of those feelings, all of those memories, and all of those past hurts. I had to tell myself, you didn't ruin your father's life by being born. You joking? You didn't ruin anyone's life by being born. Your existence is always going to be something that is to be experienced and survived and made into something beautiful, something joyful, something conquerable, a mountain to climb, a dragon to slay. It's going to be an adventure, and you have to decide what you're going to do with it, what you're going to make of it, how you're going to enjoy your journey. Because it's easy to give up, it's easy to give in. Pain can feel like heavy boulders being placed on you slowly, and sometimes you get used to the pain, and then they put another one on, and then you have to adjust to that, and then you get used to that pain, and they put another one on, and it's easy to sink under that weight. It can be really easy to sink under that weight. there's so much to live for. And what I figured out along this little bam 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 journey was that you have to, or I really had to figure it out for myself. You know, I had to figure out what it is that I want to achieve on my own, you know, for myself, for this life. Not just for my family or for my son and what I want to offer the world and what I want to do for a living and what I want to, like the relationships that I want to have. Not just those things. What I really want for myself out of this life. You know, what will satisfy me. And it's interesting to think about. Like, what is it that you need to experience in order to feel satisfied? Like, you're really living. It can be deep. It can be hard to think about. But it's important. It's important to do so. And you're actually living, you know, then you're actually, you know, enjoying this experience and drinking in all the juices of life. One of the first things that I think of is authenticity. Am I really expressing myself the way that I want to? Am I like doing what I want to every day? I'm looking in the mirror, by the way. Am I saying what I want to every day? Am I wearing whatever weird shit I want to wear? Am I creating the way that I want to? Am I affecting people in a way that I want to affect people, you know? I think that's an important thing to think about, especially if you spend your days with other people, you know, working with them, talking with them. That's your life, you know, that is your contribution and or that is how you're being affected, you know. So it's important to know what it is that you're doing. Like, are you listening to people when they're talking to you? Are you being present with them? Are you sharing things in the way that you want to share them? You know, are you saying what you want to say to the people that you want to say it to? Are you holding back? Are you hiding parts of yourself? There are a lot of small ways that we can be fulfilling our dreams every day, you know. Creating art, singing, dancing, talking to strangers, driving to a new place, eating a new food, wearing a different outfit, reading an interesting book, working with your hands. You know, there are so many different ways that you can explore life that are free, that don't cost any money, or that are easy, or that you can like dip into. You don't have to go skydiving tomorrow, but like by all means, if you can, do it. Learning a new language. There are lots of ways to fulfill those desires of curiosity and of change and of focusing on doing something that's for you, that makes you feel good, that fulfills you. I feel like I'm making a stank face. I still haven't finished my makeup. I did a lot of reflecting and a lot of, like I said, workbooks. I did workbooks. I did the Sabotage workbook, and there's like a couples workbook that we were doing, and 21 days of, I forget what it's called. I'll put it on the screen, of course. After I got over all the crying and stuff, I was like, what can I do so that this doesn't happen again? Number one, the holding in the feelings and the exploding. And what can I do so that I don't feel this way, so that I'm not hurt by my own feelings, you know? Because a lot of the time when I'm upset about something that someone else is doing or someone else is doing to me, they are just expressing themselves in a way that makes me feel scared, in a way that makes me feel like panicked or threatened, you know. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's okay. Is that gonna ruin my relationship? Or I don't know if that's okay. Am I going to be able to survive this? Like, you know, am I able to deal with this? Like, I don't know. And I start freaking out. I turn into a bunny who's like running around like, oh, you know. That's not a helpful way to approach any like conflict or any challenge or anything that is making you feel uncomfortable, you know. It's can be difficult, you know, to be calm and just to take a breath and go, you know, okay, how is this going to affect me? Is this really going to, you know, affect me in this way? Blah, blah, blah. It can be difficult to be really rational in the moment sometimes. Taking a deep breath and trying to relax in the moment can be really, really helpful. Everything that I was going through and everything that I was feeling and all of the revelations that I was having really led me to the idea that, or led me to like be really present with the fact that I was taking a self-mastery class, you know. I was taking a class that would lead me to being able to be in control of myself, you know, my emotions, my reactions, my feelings, you know, what I allowed into my system, like into my body, like what I allowed to hurt me and what I allowed to give me joy, and how I can truly live my life in a way that I feel peaceful and calm and chill and like unflappable. The way that I can do that is by confronting all of those traumatic feelings and deep-seated falsehoods that were living in me that I needed to release and say, no, that's not true. It's not true, baby. That's not true. And like I said, when it comes to telling yourself that you're worthy of love and life, I had to think about like the reason why I would say that to someone else. If you say why, because that's like the question, right? Why am I worthy of love? Why am I worthy of life? Well, because you're here right now on earth right now, because you exist, because love is what nurtures us. Life is food, it is shelter, it is community, it is love, it's growth. We are all worthy of those things just by being here, just because we are here. We are all worthy of comfort, of joy, of shelter, of emotional stability, of being supported and held and encouraged. We are all worthy of that. Just because we are born, you are a baby and you are a fresh, new creature who is a blank slate and has the potential for anything. And that sweet, adorable little creature deserves the chance to have everything that they desire. And the reason why you believe that you can have those things, whatever it is that you want, whatever those experiences are, the truth behind you achieving those goals is your own will and your own fortitude, your power to do things and your power to achieve things has to come from yourself. Because you have come this far, you can go further, and you have to believe that, because you can do it, because you will do it, because you breathe, you can achieve. So sorry for that. It's incredible to have love from other people and to have them really encourage you to live your passions and see them come into reality, you know, see your dreams come to life. It's wonderful to have that. It's infinitely more explosive to have that feeling for yourself, to believe that you, on your own, with your own power, your own energy, your own love for yourself, you believe that you are worthy of existence, that you are worthy of love and life, and that you can have joy To believe that for yourself, my dude, that is the ultimate piece to me. Anything else is icing on the cake. Self-worth. It's the greatest magic. Think about people getting pets and getting like dogs, and they get so excited and they buy all the best food and they get all the best everything, the best like dog beds and crates, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna train you to do all this stuff, I'm gonna give you farm fresh cattle bred cornmeal, non-cornmeal, fresh salmon wedges food, you know what I'm saying? Like only the best. Everything for this dog, and they love this dog unconditionally, no matter what. Poops on the floor, oh, it's just an accident. Pees on the floor, ooh, ooh, ooh. Rips up your favorite shoes, toy, whatever. You know, you're upset in the moment, but you get over it because they're so sweet, and they don't know. They're just trying to have a good time. They're just trying to satisfy little urges, you know, it's no big deal. And you love them, no matter what. It's like wild that you can do that for this little creature. You can't do it for yourself. You can't forgive yourself. You can't give yourself that same grace. That same, it's okay. You made a mistake. It's all right. No big deal. We're still okay. You're alive. You can move forward. You can try again. You can get past this. No big deal. Tomorrow the sun will be shining. There will be other toys to chew on. Other floors to pee on. You have to give yourself all of the love that you have ever needed and more. You have to go back to those moments when you were hurting and look in your little child face and say, I'm so sorry, but I'm here for you now, and everything is going to be all right because you've made it this far, and you can make it even further, and you deserve to, right? Not just because you're here, not just because you were a baby with potential and now you can live it out, but because you have fought this hard for this long and now you deserve it, right? So get it, baby. Seriously. If we have to have this like pep talk every March, I'm fine with it. Because it's as much for myself as it is for you. It's okay though. Because every year we grow, we learn so much more. I learned so much more about myself. And I do feel now that I have this goal of self-mastery that I am like so driven to not just achieve, because I feel like there's so much to learning about yourself, but I want to get as much, I want to get as far as I can, you know. Had some food, finished my makeup. This is what I look like. Kind of want to put a tie on and like a bunch of pins or something, but I also don't want to take away from my adorable bears. As I had been saying, what had I been saying, my friends? The point that I want to make is that self-exploration is hard work, and shadow work is really hard work, but it is incredibly worth it to release the locks and chains that we place on different parts of who we are. You know, if there's a negative thought that you have about yourself, challenge it. Figure out why you believe that. Work hard to release that belief and find ways to move forward ahead of those thoughts, ahead of those like negative things that turn into doubt bubbles that block your magic. When they pop up, tell them no. No, thank you. You know, it's a part of yourself trying to protect you from getting hurt. It's a part of yourself trying to protect you from disappointment. You know, it says, oh, well, you can't do that. Don't do that. It's too hard. It's too wild. It's too big. It's too bold. It's too scary. It's just trying to protect you when it says that. It says, you know, stick to what you're doing. Stay small. Stay quiet. Stay safe, because you know this, and this will keep you from getting hurt. But if you don't challenge yourself and go outside of that little box, your world will never expand. And there's so much to enjoy and discover. And I want my world to be as big as it can possibly be. And the only way to do that is to work on those parts of myself that hold me back. It is the greatest bit of magic that you can do to unlock every door and window and closet and attic and basement in your mansion of a world, and have all of those doors and pathways open to the possibilities that lie within this incredible world. In my journey to becoming a wizard, as I call it, a wizard being someone who is on a journey of self-mastery, mastering your magic, your power, your gifts, your mind, your spirit, your peace, your world. Someone who is in control of all of these things, you know, in control of how you perceive everything outside of yourself. And you're in control of how you receive everything inside of yourself. If you want to project magic and grace, then that's what has to be inside, you know. That's what you have to surround yourself with. Anyway, one of the biggest things in life is really like figuring out what you're living for. And I think it's a gift to learn that you have to live for yourself, and that you have to enjoy things and create things and experience things for yourself. With people, of course. Fully expressing and being who you are. Not letting anything hold you back. Challenge is an opportunity for growth and for greater self-mastery. Okay, friends, I think I've talked enough. I feel like you get it, you know what I mean? These past few weeks were rough. I had a rough time, but after that I discovered all kinds of things about myself, about who I am, and about who I want to be, and about what I want to share, and about all the things that I want to juice out of the earth. And I'm going to become a ninja wizard monk, which means I'm going to work really hard to be peaceful, loving, open. I'm going to question myself. I'm going to question my beliefs to make sure that they make sense. I'm going to challenge myself to continue healing my heart and my past so that my future can become more and more open to possibilities. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on. I'm going to put the books that I've read and the workbooks that I've done in the description box. Nothing is sponsored or anything. We went to Barnes & Noble and purchased books and workbooks because we were like, okay, there are some blockages that need to be unblocked. Let's do this. So we did that. And I will also put some resources in the description box for people who are struggling with their mental health. If you are struggling with your mental health, know that you are not alone. Know that There are so many people out there that are probably feeling similar feelings to you, and they get through it every day. I got through it, and I know you can too, with help and support and love. I'm gonna go, but stay weird, be cool, make magic, be dope. Call your mom, tell her you love her, call your dad, ask him what's up, check in with yourself, see how you doing, check your body, drink some water. Have a beautiful, magical day.